Hey, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. and today I'm reviewing Pop Art from R2I. Pop Art is a 1 to 8 player game, you heard me right, that's a 1 to 8 player game from the creators of Canvas from Road to Infamy Games. This game is kind of a spiritual successor. It definitely has some core elements that Canvas has, while very much being its own separate beast. In the game, you're going to be creating a 3x3 card of, a 3x3 grid. You're creating a 3x3 grid of cards. You're going to do that by having a bunch of cards from 3 of these background cards and then 3 of these foreground cards. You're going to draw these from these sleeve box over here, and now you have your starting setup as how do you want to combine these cards to create your personal 3x3 grid area. Without spending too much time over analyzing anything over here, let's go ahead and take, oh, that one's per orange, but I do want to know that per orange and rivals display. I said I won't spend too much time over analyzing, but I think I might know. You know what, we're going to go ahead and go with this one. I think it's a high amount of points if I do it right. We're going to play this card, which is going to be a magenta pair of shoes on a background. We're going to place this down as our top card on the grid, keeping in mind, as you place things down, you could change where things go to an extent, meaning you can't move things. Rather, you don't have to. Like right now, I mentally have in mind this is my top card, but I could end up having it as a middle card or a bottom card, depending on how I play out my grid. Then I'm going to pass these cards over here, these 2 and 2, to the player to my left over here, and then I'll take the cards they passed me and add 1 more from the box, so you're always dealing with 3 backgrounds and 3 foregrounds. So again, I'm going to take their 2 cards, pretend they handed me these, and then I'll go ahead and add 1 card from the box and 1 foreground, and that's my new hand of cards. And now I can go ahead and put these out. So I'm going to take a look at these cards over here. This card means that I do want yellow cards. Unfortunately, I can't get yellow right now because these cards in my hand only have an opening on their right side, which means I can get green or violet in my display. So this would be a terrible one over here. I'm not going to do that one. What if green only appears exactly once? That could be rough. What about per card there? Let's go ahead and put a violet card out. So we're going to get a violet card out. We're going to say that I want per card. I don't love that either. That's too much violet. We're going to do per orange or per green. We'll do per, I don't like this. We're going to shift it up. We're going to shift it up to the other one. We're going to go, if orange appears exactly once, then we're going to go ahead and have this. Now I'm going to take this card and I'm going to put it over here as my next set of cards in my grid. So again, I'm creating this little art as I go. And you can see you can have all these different arts from the front over here, another pair of sneakers, but it could be a different background which changes the look and feel and color palette of the card. I'll once again pass it to my player on my left over here, and I'll do this one more time before diving into the other things you need to know. I'm going to grab this hand of cards, I'll take the 3 more. Again, I happen to be taking it from the deck boxes because I'm playing this solo to show you how it works. I could get a yellow card in play, and I think I really want to, so I'm going to play this one out. Ooh, that's rough. I think I'm actually going to pivot my plans. I had in mind this is going to be the top card of my grid, but I'm going to move it down a little bit. It's going to be the middle card of my grid because I'm going to place this here. Oh no. I made mistakes. Mistakes were made, but I'm still going to place this. I think it's still a good setting of cards. So I have these 3 cards over here, and this is going to be part of my 3x3 grid. I would then play out more cards to the top or bottom as necessary. Again, I can't really move a card. I can just mentally reposition where a card is going in my grid until I have a 3x3 grid that I would then score for. Now, why are you doing all this? For points. To win. You're trying to win the game. The way you're going to do that is twofold. In the basic game, you're just looking at the cards themselves. For example, this card over here is 5 points per yellow card to the right or below it. Keeping in mind that's a combination of different features. This has 2 points per something below it to the right. This is 3 points per yellow. When you put them together, you get 5 points. First, you define the color of this card, but you also go ahead and define the exact scoring criteria, meaning you're constantly building different scoring criteria and different colors you want to see in your little display. This card over here is 5 points per yellow to the right, which I have, and below, which I haven't done yet. This card is 3 points per portrait above and to the right. Unfortunately, because I chose to put this here last turn, because I didn't know this is coming, this is less efficient. Had I placed this over here, that would be better, but again, I can't reposition once I've placed it. And this card wants to be 4 points if orange appears exactly once. That's going to be the way these cards score. You're going to have 9 cards that feed off each other, as well as sometimes looking to your rivals to your left or your right, to seeing how they score. Do you have more or less of something than they have? And you're going to get points for all of your 9 cards. But wait, there's more. You also get points if you're playing with the Critic Choice cards. Now you can play with any number of these Critic Choice cards. Generally, I've been adding 2 to my game. I find 2 to be a good number, 1 feels like not enough, and 3 starts to overwhelm players. These give you specific ways to earn a bonus 6 points each. In this case, if I have all 6 colors then I get a bonus 6 points. I currently have green, magenta, and yellow. I'm halfway there. And this one is exactly 4 of a color. You'll get 6 points. Now the math of it is, since you only have 9 cards, you can achieve both those if you do it perfectly. So mentally, I'm not playing a full game, but mentally I had in mind that I was going to aim for 1 of each color and 4 yellow. That would be exactly 9 cards, because 6 over here plus 3 more yellow, that would be exactly 9 cards, and I'd get my bonus 12 points. In a game where the point spread can often be between like 40 to 70, 12 bonus points is a huge deal. You want to go ahead and get your hands on those. And then lastly, the last thing to really cover is going to be the artist tool. Again, this is an optional module you can throw in. I highly recommend adding it if you have it. But basically, you're going to have a tool token over here. You get this 1 tool token. You can use it once per game to do whatever the artist tool is. There's 4 different tools giving you different ways. Double the points of a card, discard and redraw. This one over here is going to let you discard and redraw a number of cards. If you get a hand of cards that's not good for your what you're trying to do, you can spend your tool, discard them, and redraw. Again, it's a little point of flexibility as to something else you can do with your once per game use of that tool. That is basically how you play pop art. Draft a bunch of cards, always having 3 foreground and 3 background, mix and match to combine to create the perfect card that's going to work for your tableau as you build a perfect 9-card display that perfectly feeds off each other to give you as many points as possible. Which makes my review of what I like, don't like, and can see others not liking in this game, and gosh darn, I love this game. I'm a huge fan of Canvas, and Canvas is a game that, the original Canvas from R2I, when I first played it, I thought it was fun and charming and light, but it didn't fully capture me. But the more I played it, the more I saw how much the combination of the toy factor of overlaying portraits made it an incredibly fun gateway game, as well as personally satisfying. I am not without heart and emotion in my cold, dead soul as I try to optimize my points. It's also fun to go ahead and build a fun little, look at the name of this, portrait I built. Canvas is very satisfying. Pop art leads into that same exact concept in the game. You're both trying to optimize around points. You are absolutely, when I play this game, the only thing I care about is really the points. I do have a bit of a cold, dead soul that's trying to number crunch my way to the maximum number of points I can get. But ultimately, it is also fun to look at the art I'm creating, to be like, ooh, look at this very colorful display of various portraits and objects that I'm putting down. It's very, very charming. I love the charm factor as far as building up my little canvas, my little gallery, a gallery display of the various pieces I'm putting together, all while doing so while trying to optimize, trying to think through, okay, if I put this here, I'm going to get points for yellow. If I put this here, I can get the diagonal. I can also get these grids here, and I can do all that while trying to achieve the critic's choice. It is so fun and so simple. The game teaches in a few minutes. You can really just show people how to play. The complexity as far as the rules is very low. The amount of min-maxing as you try to optimize your way to the perfect score, that's where the crunch of the game comes in, and it does so while having a strong toy factor. I have really been enjoying this one. It's a lot of fun. Cannot recommend it enough, especially if you're a fan of Canvas. But even if you're not a fan of Canvas, well, actually, it's not true. If you're a fan of Canvas, you should get this game. If you haven't played Canvas, you should get this game. If you have played Canvas and don't like Canvas, this might not be for you. I do think there's more crunch to the experience as far as the way cards interact together. There's more room for complex ways to generate points, more so than the original Canvas, but I think Canvas does a good job. I think if you aren't a fan of Canvas, it's worth trying this, but maybe try before you buy. As far as what I don't like in the game, there's really only one thing, but it's a relatively big thing in the scope of this game. This game plays incredibly well up to 8 players. Because you're passing cards, you're really as slow as the slowest player, so an 8-player game is only marginally slower than a 3 or 4-player game. But I will say, a 2-player game, it feels like the drafting of the cards cycles them too much that you don't get as much new things going on, to the point that I have house ruled already that in a 2-player game, we always play with this tool in play and one other tool. So we ensure that this discard and redraw is in play, and you get two tool tokens, so you can use both of the tools. You can use the discard and redraw, and you can even use it twice, and you can use whatever the other thing is. That's what my personal house rule has been whenever playing a 2-player game. Other than that, I've enjoyed it at 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, I don't know how I'm saying that. I haven't played it at 7 or 8. I've enjoyed it at higher player counts, but I've played it, when I'm playing it at 2, I have found that it's a little bit, again, it gets a little bit stale as far as the cards, and so having that house rule in play definitely has helped my 2-player games. Even so, I think I prefer it at a 3+ player count, and honestly, even a 4+ player count really means more things are cycling through, and you don't keep on looking every few turns at the same card passing by, which in some drafting games, you're really hoping things will return to you. In this drafting game, because it's only 3 cards, unless you're playing a 2-player game, they're not anyway, and it just ensures greater longevity, greater freshness of the card pool. As far as final thoughts on pop art, I really enjoy this game. I have been having so much fun with this one. Rating-wise, I'm going to give it a 4.5 out of 5, and I'm not sure if it might bump up. it might bump up. I really like the game. It is falling in that space where games like this, there's so many that I'm a bit more hesitant. Whenever you have number crunchy games, I'm always well, not number crunchy, lots of games number crunchy. Whenever you have games in which you're trying to get the max number of points by the way everything fits in and ties together, and these rows and these columns and this scoring metric, there's so many that do this system incredibly well that I'm always hesitant to give something too high of a score because, like, you know, who knows how it'll fare, especially in competition with other games. For right now, this is an easy 4.5 out of 5. I would not be surprised if this is one of those games that does drift up to a 5 over time. Games like this, I've gone one of two directions. Either they drift up and they become one of my favorite in the genre, or over time I find myself not pulling them off the shelf relative to other games like that. So 4.5 might go up. We'll see. As far as other game recommendations, definitely check out Canvas if you are interested in this game. I think Canvas leads into the same kind of thing. Also check out Castle Combo. Castle Combo kind of feels a very similar feel as far as a 3x3 grid and the number crunchiness. I think overall they fit very similar spaces, which makes sense because I enjoy them both. And then Allplay is a channel sponsor. If you go to allplay.com, you can find a variety of games both from Allplay as well as partner publishers. And actually, this game feels very similar to Enchanted Ivy. The general idea, Enchanted Ivy is an Allplay game. You can check it out. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. That's actually one that I originally gave a 4.5 and then did drift up to a 5 over time. But it has a similar style as far as trying to fit everything perfectly to maximize your point return. But this feeds off of that, and that feeds off of that, and will this reward you for that? But overall, it gives you that same experience in a game devoted to solo play. In any case, until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co. Hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.